So the Supreme Court of India's verdict has now given a sanction and approval to Modi government's decision with regard to Article 370 abrogation on Jammu and Kashmir. Now, morning, what has happened is that Prime Minister Modi had hailed the Supreme Court upholding the centre's decision to scrap the article. He has now written an article. Prime Minister Modi has said that earlier there was a question mark on the status of J&K. Now there are only exclamation marks about its record growth. Further added that through its judgment, the court has upheld the sovereignty and integrity of India. Former Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Ghulam Nabi Azad, termed the verdict sad and unfortunate instead. He asserted the abrogation of article was a mistake. Meanwhile, National Conference leader Omar Abdullah took a swipe also at the BJP, saying it took decades for the party to reach J&K while vowing to continue the struggle.
की बात है जिसके लिए बधाई मैं देना चाहता हूं सुप्रीम कोर्ट के कि टाइम लाइन उन्होंने बताई कि निर्धारित समय में और डेट फिक्स करी विधानसभा के इलेक्शन होने चाहिए और स्टेटहुड होनी चाहिए, ये इसके लिए बधाई की। वरना एक लोगों में बहुत मायूसी, डबल मायूसी थी कि पता नहीं अब कभी इलेक्शन होंगे भी कि नहीं, कभी स्टेटहुड बने भी कि नहीं। इस अनसर्टेनिटी को सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने दुरुस्त किया, ठीक किया, उसके लिए मैं उनको बधाई देता हूं।
Himanshu Mishra joining me with the latest on what Prime Minister Modi has written in the article. Himanshu, clearly most of the local the netas in Jammu and Kashmir still feel it's a wrong move, but what has Prime Minister Modi written in the article that signifies or what plans does the government have? किस तरह से उनकी स्ट्रैटेजी रहेगी? क्यों उनको लगता है कि जम्मू कश्मीर को बिट्रे किया गया था और 370 हटाना जरूरी था?
देखिए, उनका प्रधानमंत्री ने साफ साफ अपने आर्टिकल में कहा है कि जम्मू कश्मीर के लिए वो हमेशा से काम करना चाहते थे और 370 जो है वो हमेशा बाधा के रूप में बनी रही जम्मू कश्मीर के विकास के लिए, और वहाँ के लोगों को जो बेसिक रिक्वायरमेंट होती है जीवन जीने के लिए, उसमें बाधा के रूप में हमेशा 370 रहा। और 5 अगस्त 2019 को जब ये हटाया गया तो एक बड़ी बाधा जो है वो दूर हुई, और कल सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जो फैसला दिया है वो मोहर लगाई है कि जो उनकी पार्टी की उनकी सोच थी वो ठीक थी जम्मू कश्मीर को लेकर, और जम्मू कश्मीर जो है भारत का अभिन्न अंग है, और अब तक जो जम्मू कश्मीर विकास के कार्यों से दूर था, अब वो विकास जो है जम्मू कश्मीर में हो पाएगा। और प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने पूरे 3 चीजों का जिक्र किया। उन्होंने कहा कि 3 स्तंभ को लेकर हमको जो है वो जम्मू कश्मीर के बारे में सोचना होगा। एक, जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों की जो समस्या है उसका समाधान करना, और उस समाधान के जरिए जो है जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों का विश्वास जीतना, और जम्मू कश्मीर के लिए विकास और अधिक विकास कार्य करे, जिससे वो पिछले लगभग 70 दशक से जो है वो महरूम थे। यानी कि जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों को उनका वो हक मिले जिसके लिए वो हक मिलना ही चाहिए, जिससे वो महरूम थे। कहीं ना कहीं प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी की ये सोच है कि जम्मू कश्मीर को अभी तक वो चीजें नहीं मिल पाई थी जिसके वो हकदार थे, और इसीलिए प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी का अगर आप देखेंगे तो जम्मू कश्मीर के कई दौरे जो हैं उन्होंने पिछले 9.5 साल के अंदर किए हैं, और धारा 370 हटने के बाद भी उन्होंने जो है कई बार वहां पर दौरे किए, चाहे वो बॉर्डर एरियाज में हो या अन्य। कहीं ना कहीं प्रधानमंत्री की जो सोच है कि जम्मू कश्मीर को भी जो है देश की जो विकास की धारा है उसमें शामिल किया जाए।
Shri Modi ने जो ये आर्टिकल लिखा है, this is and I want to just add to the viewers what Himanshu has said, that this is as much about what Prime Minister Modi felt that J&K was betrayed. He wanted to work, change the face of J&K in terms of development, but also there is now a future strategy to be implemented in J&K here or now that Article 370 has gone. Thank you so much for now, Himanshu Mishra. Joining me now, Kamaljeet Sandhu, who's been getting us different voices of the leaders, of the people in Jammu region where she is presently. Kamal, tell us this, the morning after, what do you think has been the assessment in the past 24 hours? I understand that there has been a certain acceptance, it had to go. There is a lot of hope also for future, specifically for Jammu, that feels it needs to be represented more. But how do you see it happening now politically with elections that are set to take place by next year?
Jammu and Kashmir has always been about a lot of diverse views, and we've seen different political parties, be it Omar Abdullah, Mehbooba Mufti. We've seen how reaction came in even from Ghulam Nabi Azad. a lot of them did express the disappointment. We've seen, especially in Jammu area where I'm standing right now, a massive support coming in. Now, there has been a call out, especially on the due process, which has now been not only been verified but legalized by the Supreme Court, been given a green flag. Now, many, especially the people, have been telling us that there's no looking back. Now, what we know from Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister's article, is very clear that there was a duality, there was a confusion which was allowed to go on very sadly for way too long, saying that he had been connected to Jammu and Kashmir all along, that right from the earlier times during Nehru's time, which was a Himalayan blunder to really go not just to the UN but also to allow this sort of duality to continue to the times of Atal Bihari Vajpayee, where we talked about Insaniyat, Jamhuriyat, Kashmiriyat, to the times that is December 11th, which is just about yesterday, talking about how this is a historic moment and there is development which is now taking place. This is what the mandate has given the Narendra Modi government to do so, talking about how a number of ministers have been sent all along in the previous years. And that is what the agenda of the government is, to bring about development in Jammu and Kashmir. Now, there is a lot of development in terms of infrastructure, but clearly it is also to bring along the people of Jammu and Kashmir who have now been integrated with mainland India. So that sort of confusion which was there existing in the previous years no longer exists now.
Test, Kamaljeet, big test. And you have covered Jammu and Kashmir. So for all these years, we've seen a burning Kashmir. We have seen the positive changes too. But the test has just started. It's going to be a long haul. And we hope that peace and prosperity returns to Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh too. Kamaljeet Sandhu will be tracking all the latest on what happens here on. Remember, now Article 370 is gone. Politically, legally too, but what happens next is also important, and what was said and directed by the Honourable Supreme Court. Chief Justice of India very categorically stating and directing the government to ensure that elections are organised in Jammu and Kashmir by next year, by September 2024, and statehood is returned as soon as possible as the conditions deem fit. Here's a report on what happened. So one was Article 370 issue, another was elections and the statehood of J&K.
We have held that a textual reading of Article 370 also indicates that it is a temporary provision.
It's a big victory for the Narendra Modi government. In a landmark verdict, the Supreme Court of India upheld the abrogation of Article 370 of the Constitution that gave Jammu and Kashmir special status. The unanimous verdict was given by the 5 senior-most judges of the court: Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud, Justices S.K. Kaul, Sanjeev Khanna, B.R. Gavai and Suryakant. Upholding the scrapping of special status, the court ruled that Article 370 was a temporary provision to deal with the situation of the war then. The CJI said that Jammu and Kashmir held no internal sovereignty after accession to India. The court, however, struck down a part of the presidential order that amended Article 367 to rename the J&K Constituent Assembly as State Assembly. The court did not rule on the removal of statehood, as the government had assured restoration of statehood during the hearing. It directed the centre to hold elections in J&K by September 30, 2024.
This court is alive to the security concerns in the territory. Direct elections to the legislative assemblies, which is one of the paramount features of representative democracy in India, cannot be put on hold until statehood is restored. We direct that steps shall be taken by the Election Commission of India to conduct elections to the Legislative Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir, constituted under Section 14 of the Reorganization Act, by 30 September 2024. Restoration of statehood shall take place at the earliest and as soon as possible.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi hailed the verdict by the top court and said the dreams of people of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh will now be fulfilled. In Kashmir, former Chief Ministers Mehbooba Mufti and Umar Abdullah claimed they were put under house arrest ahead of the verdict. They expressed disappointment at the SC verdict.
आज जो हरकत मरकजी सरकार ने पार्लियामेंट के अंदर नाजायज, गैर कानूनी, गैर आईनी की, उसको जो जायज करार दिया गया, वो जम्मू कश्मीर के लिए ही नहीं बल्कि आइडिया ऑफ इंडिया, हिंदुस्तान के तस्वुर के लिए एक सजाए मौत की खबर से कम नहीं है।
जहां अदालत में उनके हक में फैसले नहीं हुए, वहां उन्होंने अपनी सियासी कोशिशें जारी रखी। तो इसी तरह हम ये कबूल करते हैं कि आज हम सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जम्मू कश्मीर लद्दाख के लोगों के लिए इंसाफ हासिल नहीं कर सके, लेकिन हम अपनी कोशिशें बंद नहीं करेंगे पुरअमन तरीके से।
While the Rajya Sabha has debated on this issue, seeing a huge ruckus this afternoon, this entire debate now shifts to the political realm from the legal. What happens next in Jammu Kashmir? When will elections be held? That is what the petitioners are now asking. In New Delhi, with cameraman Ashwini Helan, this is Anisha Mathur for India Today.